Stop. James.
Louder.
James. Stop. James. Stop. James.
Louder.
Stop. James.
Get back up here.
James. Stop.
Keep them out.
James. Stop.
Keep
James.
them
Stop.
down. Louder.
Lovely crowd. Wow. This is my first Dragon Con ever. I was supposed to be here, I was going to be here a couple days ago, but they were Irene-related issues. I was shooting a short film in New York and I couldn't be here because we had to make up for lost Irene time.
So anybody who tried to go to the James Urbaniak panel, he was not there.
I wasn't. We thought about having an understudy for the James Urbaniak panel.
I was going to be the fill-in.
Yeah. The
Doing
Doc
my-
could have just done my panel and talked about me.
Doing my, no, pretend to be you. Doing my impression of you that is actually shore leave. I would have just, picture this, low lights on the stage, and then I just sit down. Oh, I didn't see you there. My entire, yeah.
Oh, it's actor James Urbaniak.
Dr. James Urbaniak.
Trademark glasses.
I remember my work from American Splendor, where I played Crumb.
That's also what you're doing is the Jackson Pollock Dr. Venture impression.
No, well, Jackson
You
Pollock
both
and
are
I,
the same exact Dr. Venture.
that's because when we speak in character, when we write, that's the voice we use. And then I just pitch it up, and it's shore leave. It is not brain surgery.
Oh, look at these beautiful things. Yeah.
These are our new statues that are
Nice.
made by, Ken, who makes these?
Sideshow Collectibles.
Sideshow Collectibles. And they're gorgeous.
That's amazing.
But they're also expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're selling well, and you'll never see them again. You'll never see a Dr. Girlfriend because they're not going to bother making any more of them. Am I begging you to buy them? No. Am I telling you that if you buy them, they might make more? Yes. That's your choice. But they are, they're particularly beautiful, but I'm not going to shut them. I'm not going to sell them to you. We're just going to have them on stage vexing you.
It's a very beautiful thing they're standing on. It's got the logo.
This one came off and I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to give it to Ken to fix so I don't drop our collectible. Let me just tell you a few things that are going on with the Venture Brothers right now, in the present. I don't know if you heard, but we have been picked up for 2 more seasons. That's 2. And we've got 1 coming, whenever we finish it, because we are not prompt. And then after that, when you're like, well, that was satisfying, boom! 1 more season. And maybe we'll make more, maybe we won't, we don't know, but it's 2 more seasons at least, and that is exciting. We just put out a special, the Shallow Gravy story. Now, this isn't an apology, but if somebody had walked up to Jackson and I and said, hey, we're going to put something in between seasons, what do you want to do? Neither of us would have been like, the Shallow Gravy story. Let's let them in on this tangential event that has nothing to do with the narrative. But just the way timing works and the way the capricious nature of 2 undisciplined writers works is that's what you got. So I'd be happy with it and less confused with it. Also, it looks slightly different than the regular season because it was done entirely in-house. That is not indicative of seasons to follow, but I have heard some people say it looked exactly the same, and other people, I'll do my Dermot voice because anytime I speak like somebody being angry about something they shouldn't be, it's a Dermot. Yeah, it looks like a pilot. It looks just like a pilot. It's totally horrible.
Who said that?
Dermot just said that.
No, but I know, but
One of the world's
really
Dermot. One of the world's Dermots. You can read them online. They're always mad. Just like an ad for their stupid record. 15-minute advertisement.
That's a different criticism than how the show looked.
People have their grievances that are based on nothing but a bad day from a person that isn't really critically thinking, and it's okay. But it does look a little strange. I think it looks really good, but it was done in-house and flash and stuff, and it looks amazing for that. A lot of it done at the Astor Base at the expense of Jackson and my personal time, which is taken away from whoring, cocaine, and all the other things we love to do. And our new pool. The giant amount of adulthood money has got us. So that's what's going on in Venture News. Sadly, or awesomely, there's nothing to advertise right now. You will not be seeing a new Venture Brothers for like a year. But what that means is that I'm full Team Venture right now. Jackson and I are writing Venture, and all we do is think about Venture. So for us, the Venture Brothers is very alive. For you, Venture Brothers is in cryo freeze. So, you know, look at me as the human embodiment of venture exuberance, but do not touch me for I am frozen. And you could, your hands would stick to me like a tongue on a flagpole.
If you may be permitted a metaphor.
If you allow me a metaphor, it would be licking when I was a child, I kissed my sled for some reason.
So did Charles Foster Kane, and look what happened to him.
Exactly. And I left a considerable amount of my lips on the sled. This was, I was born in like 1802, so the sleds were made of wood and metal back then. And my parents were always, they just couldn't wait to buy me the newest plastic contrivance, which is untrue. I rode a girl's bike most of my life. Because my mom, same bike. So we can just open up the floor to fantastic questions, meaning all the middling or mediocre questions should just remain seated. And we will only have fantastic questions, and I won't need to judge because I trust you to be able to self-edit. So every question that comes up, even if it's, is Kim coming back? I'll go, that's an awesome question. And the answer is, probably not. So are we ready to open up to questioning? And we have crap on this stage. So James, at your whim, yes, if you want to just give somebody crap, go, Ken, give that man crap. You might get a shallow gravy shirt and
Amazing shallow gravy shirt that I just saw.
Or an actual physical number shallow gravy CD with a parental advisory because Dermot says fuck. Whoops. Sorry. Oh, and a Blu-ray of clean season 4.1.
Ooh.
Not beat on season 4.2.
My wife just said we're getting a Blu-ray player, so now I can get one.
I bought a PS3 to play LA Noire. I could not hold my attention for 20 minutes. It is right next to the other paperweight I call my Wii. I couldn't do
You
it.
told me that you don't play video games anymore.
I didn't say I was like an anti-video game guy. I just suck at video games. They take away my time. I thought I could just try it because I'm interested in the noir genre. And I played it, and it was just like Grand Theft Auto without enough cars to steal. So that was my take on it.
Do you have a Connect? You'd look kind of gangly sexy
What was your question?
on one of those.
Did you ask me if I have a Kinects?
Connect, the thing where you
build models?
move your body around. The Xbox.
Hard to make models? Like Kinects?
No.
Like
look it
Legos
up.
for adults?
You can look it up later.
Okay. No, I have Wii Fitness, but I don't use it. I just wanted it. Because I thought it looked fun, but it is not fun. It's confusing. And I am,
Does your apartment have windows where
my
people
apartment
can
really
see
has
you?
floor space. It's tiny. It was the stupidest thing I've ever done. Yeah, and I can't do anything on beat.
I don't think have I been to your, no, I've been to your apartment. Have I been to your apartment?
Oh, James.
No, I think it was at Jackson's old one.
James, do not remember that.
Seriously, this is true.
You have not been to my apartment.
No, you're still kind of a mystery even to me.
Yeah, I just gave James my phone number.
I just got it self the first time in like 7 years.
Yeah. No, I'm mysterious.
I never had it before.
My house is very small and very small.
I email you occasionally, I never hear back.
I am a man of mystery.
He is, he's kind of secluded. He's like
I am not kind of secluded. I am a hermit. It's beyond kind of
You're like so much J.D. Salinger.
I don't want people to know about me. No, J.D. Salinger had one book in him. This man can pound that crap out. I promise you.
All right, Thomas Pynchon. Thomas Pynchon is a better comparison.
Balzac's, like 70-something novels, just bang, bang, bang. He just wrote in this gray room with a bust of Napoleon. That's what I wore a kid too.
Sometimes John Grisham just stayed in the backyard.
Yeah.
You know, it's true.
No, Balzac would wake up at 8 o'clock at night, go out for breakfast, and everybody's like, how does a man get so much writing done? He's out every night. Breakfast.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't even do that. I just stay in my crappy little apartment and watch What Not to Wear. So we will open. I need to know what Stacey thinks. Are we ready for questions? Is there a mic up there? Good. Let's have at it.
All right, my question about multiple voices you do on the show. Who's your favorite character's voice to do? And if you could respond to the question in that character.
Wow, that's a lot to do, James.
Oh, the little puddle of muck in the yard sale episode.
Let's give it so much you did it once 6 years ago.
What did he say?
He said, officer, I want to press charges.
Officer, I'd like to press charges! Which is just me doing Paul Lynde, which is my favorite voice. Like, if there was surely there's a way we could get another Paul Lynde voice on the show.
We can have that guy come back.
Hello, Dr. Venture.
Doctor works. I take requests from James. I've been working on a Paul Lynde. Can you just throw me a bone on this?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite voice? Is Paul Lynde of Pop the Muck season 1?
Yeah, correct. I don't really enjoy doing the show that much. It's like that I got to do Paul Lynde 5 years ago.
Pays the bills, you know.
For 2
It
seconds.
is too. Actual James Urbaniak quote walking into the studio.
I'd say yes, I do like doing the phantom
James.
name. That's nice because you get to do kind of a low register and talk very close to the microphone.
Phantom name.
It's kind of intimate. Phantom.
I was going to say this. James came into the recording studio once and said this out loud. Another day at the office. So, take that for what it is. All right, let's do this. I
Work at 9 to 5. What a way to make a living.
So, what was it?
And now you do a voice, so it's so funny to
My
hear the
favorite
voice.
voice to do?
Just do a voice, that's all the kid wants.
It's fun. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's say his name. What's
It's
it?
fun to see Hank's area and that flow comes out of them. No, we've been at these
It's correct.
things
It's correct.
before.
No, it's
Come
fun.
on.
It's fun to see this make any voice. My favorite voice to do is Shore Leave because it's easy and he's fun. I love the exuberance. So that is my favorite voice. Should I say that? My favorite voice to do is Shore Leave because it's fun and it's exuberant.
I never really. Sure, leave is just a slight adjustment of your Dr.
My
Venture
natural voice having more fun than I've ever had in my life. And if you get me mad, and I'm an apologist for some whacked out theory that I am the only person that believes in, 21. Hey, got your mind! Yeah, I can't hear it. And I hear my own voice going, I'm arguing as 21 now. You're crazy.
I can verify that.
It's true. Dr. Groffman never comes out unless I intentionally do, or when you first wake up and you first open your mouth at the deli and you're, how much?
I showed my 5-year-old son a clip for the first time ever on the YouTube of the Venture.
Did he like it?
Well, he saw one of the dolls. He saw the
On
Dr.
the
Venture
YouTube?
doll. Yeah.
You don't have a DVD player.
No, it was too complicated to put a DVD in and find
Here, you
a
haven't
non-dirty
seen the
part
Venture
to show
Brothers,
my
you've seen it
5-year-old.
in bootlegged 8-bit. Hold on a moment. It's tiny, but
I knew I could find a few second clip, and I found it, and then I said, does that sound like me? I said, this is a character Daddy does a voice. Then I played Dr. Venture. I said, does that sound like me? He said, no, which meant a lot. That to him, it didn't sound like
okay,
Daddy.
everybody in the audience, doesn't he always?
I know. But Dr. Venture has a more pissed off quality than I do.
Sure he does. Never sounds exactly like him always.
I was relieved that to my son, I didn't come off like Dr. Venture. It meant a lot to me.
Well, yeah, I think it was registering that you weren't a Dr. Venture.
Who does it? Does that sound like me? No, it doesn't! Why doesn't it sound like me? Dr. Venture does the high pitch. I have a friend, actually. I have an old friend, and when he gets upset, he's like, well, that's just stupid! And I'm kind of doing
Is that what you're basing it on?
Yeah, when Venture kind of goes into that upper thing.
It's your yelly friend.
Yeah, my yelly friend.
No, my voices are all based on what my voice can do, which is it's very limited. I'm not a talented man vocally. It's depressing.
Well, none of us, we all stand in the shadow of Jackson Public.
Jackson can do voices that you don't recognize.
I have not recognized voices that he's done.
Yeah,
and I've been
like-
shocked when I see them in the credits.
I always forget your Phantom Limb. Yeah. No, I totally don't see it. And the voice I do for there's a character who's a two-headed monster now called Red Mantle and Dragoon. Thank you.
Right.
I do Red Mantle, and you can almost not tell it's me, and I'm kind of proud of that. But I am doing the drunk version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's drunk. I don't remember all of these droids. I could have been out of bender. I'm not aware of them. Maybe I have some in the closet. Let me look. No, that's not a droid. That's a dead whore.
Actually, Steve Rattazzi told me that one of his influences...
He does Dr. Orpheus.
One of his influences for Dr. Orpheus was Derek Jacobi, the English actor, specifically his Hamlet. And if you Google... Derek Jacobi is a famous English, theater actor. Claudius, come on, somebody. But he had a very kind of upper register... What was that?
Oh dear Lord, that is not pleasant.
He had a kind of... He uses a lot of upper register, and he does what I call taffy pulling. So in his Hamlet, he's like, to be or not to be. It's totally Orpheus.
Taffy pulling. Next question.
I'm speaking for Stephen. Because...
Maybe because your windscreen fell on the floor, right there. Yeah, it's called the pop filter. Ask me why. Yes.
I was wondering if we'll ever get to meet Dr. Mrs. the mother-in-law. Maybe she could sound like Paul Lynde.
This is...
Don't you ever clean this place?
And you know what? That's a super idea, but
I don't like the yellow you more in spring.
we're not wedding DJs and we don't take requests, so immediately James just lost a job on that one. You did that. You're the pilot of James
Thanks
not getting
a lot.
another SAG check from us. So I'll have to do it. I'll Thelma and...
We'll get a lid in
Let's give
there.
him a prize for losing James a job.
Yeah, here's a prize for James just lost a role. You can have your choice.
there you go.
But yeah, we've thought about putting Dr. Girlfriend's mother on there, but we like to keep things so creepy insulated.
Harvey Firestein would be a good...
Yes. I'm talking to a shirtless guy, man. I haven't done this in hours.
You've hinted to some of the characters aging. Take, Dean's horrible mustache. Is there any plan to sort of expand that into other characters?
Just beards. You're asking how many beards we're going to have eventually. It's just, yeah, the next season's going to have a lot of facial hair.
To expand it how, though?
As people aging, well, the other characters...
To comedically explore their...
The other characters are older and you don't see them age as much, but you watch them grow, which is like aging for those characters. But, it's not worth putting receding hairlines in. I mean, if you've seen the show, sometimes people's necks are this long, and then they're this long. It's really hard to do subtle changes. And, a lot of our characters wear cowls. Very difficult. So, did I lose my windscreen? I don't feel the windscreen.
You lost it.
What is with the windscreens in this place?
Here.
Pop filters are crazy.
Take
They're dragging
mine.
time.
There you go. I don't need it.
It smells so much like Kent. Excellent.
Thank you. Can you give him a job?
Give me some tea. I want to fix this for everybody else.
You know what? I'm gonna hold this as a backup.
Are we going to age our other characters? No, but they're aging. And you're going to learn more about them, and you're going to feel like they're aging, and you're going to be aging. A lot of you started to watch this in high school, so just extrapolate.
It's going to be a whole episode about the floater of Dr. Venture's eye.
Yeah, it's true. And
From the eye's point of view, so
He's
just
just-
be this little...
the season's runner is going to be Dr. Venture worried about if his prostate is cancerous. This is true. I don't know if you care about this. I once had a doctor. I call him Dr. Alarmist. Then He said, it's not a case of if with your prostate, it's a case of when. That was my doctor. I was like, what do you want to take it out now?
Real talk.
Yeah. I'm using it. Real talk. Yeah, you're going to ask me to go into the other room and use it in a minute. Throw me a towel and tell me to clean up after myself. Next question. Bitter man.
According to tvtropes.org,
Which is law. Don't listen to me anymore. Just read online things.
well, I saw this thing that was very interesting, but I wasn't sure if it was accurate or not. I wanted to know what you thought about it. I believe on the Venture Brothers page on that website, it states that the Venture Brothers, the Tick, and the Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog all belong to the same universe. Now, can you confirm or deny this? And are there any other works you would like to include in that net?
What is in the universe? You know, they come from a similar mindset, but I don't think they come from the same universe. I don't think Dr. Horrible would show up on the Venture Brothers. I don't even think the Tick would show up on the Venture Brothers. But, you know, I think what they created was what I will now label the Ben Edlund thread. And Ben and Jackson worked on the Tick. And Ben and I worked on, like, wacky shit that had no business being ever made into anything. Like, Ben and I would write scripts that the world does not want, and I'm telling you, they will never be ready for. It was an exercise in just absurd, beautiful vulgarity. And not just obscenities, just the vulgarity that we had. Every once in a while, I'll pluck out a little, look at my capricious little hands. Bit of a dancer, aren't I? Every once in a while, I'll pluck out pieces that Ben and I had used for other things and put it in the Venture Brothers, and it still just stands out like, oh, that is an ugly thing to have happen. So because Ben worked through that, and Ben had to do with the Dr. Horrible sing-along, and Ben, of course, is the pilot of the Tick, that could be the throughway, but I don't think they're from the same universe, but there's something that they all share. There's a gentleness, and there are things that people don't label and don't even notice, but I feel that both the Tick and the Venture Brothers have a gentleness and a beauty that is not found in a lot of cartoons. There's a precious thing about it. You can't explain it, and it's why Jackson and I only write the show, because it's something that if you do not possess, you don't even know it's there. So that might be the other through line. And Dr. Horrible, I know so little about it. I've seen a little bit about it. I liked it, but I am too vain to watch the products of somebody else's mind. I'm not interested, sir. No, I just, I'm like James said earlier, I live in a little hovel and I don't have anything to do with society until I creep out.
Would you like to give a prize for gentle humanity?
Then I should get the prize. I'm rewarding the trope. Would you want to? Oh, by the way, that trope site, every once in a while I read it, and this is my reaction to about 80% of it. Oh, come on! You are reaching. There you are. Next question.
Sorry about that. First of all, I want to say that we all love you. Can I get a little love out of you guys? My question's not witty or anything like that. It's very general. But what were some of the, I think we can all recall favorite scenes or lines that we all had. What were some of you guys' favorite scenes or lines that came up?
Can I just, this is a tangential thought. I miss Jackson so fucking bad right now. I love James.
I didn't take it.
I love James. That wasn't a slight.
I don't think I entered into that.
I just feel like my like an arm is missing. It's because this is something that we share, and I love being. That was a gentle. Can't my phone's out in the audience, and you'd be so aggressively mad if I did that. I don't want to go. Don't put me on the mic. Tell me what you want. I don't want to do this. Hello. But you know, this stuff gets up on YouTube and things like that. Can we all just go, I love you, Jackson Public? 1, 2, 3. See? Don't skip DragCon next year, you buffoon. Oh Don't confuse the panel. What was your question?
My favorite lines.
besides-
Nobody gets the shrink ray.
Yeah. Besides the kiss up that is going to get you this DVD here, this Blu-ray. What is it? I'm gonna pretend the mic has.
that you had. There you go.
That was it.
No, my favorite, or my question was just, what was you guys' favorite scenes?
Oh, favorite scenes, yes.
Producing or voice acting in, really.
No, I don't. The whole show's a big blur. It's like one episode in my head. 90% of it is what I thought we did. So anytime I watch a show, I'm like, really? That's it? That's the Venture Brothers? Really? I swear we did something different. So I have no real recollection of anything. I do remember having fun doing Jackson Public's episode that had the origin of Billy's hand and all that stuff. Because it was so Billy heavy, and I loved pretending to be Billy. And I was like acting my heart out. Because, I'm not really an actor. So it was just nice. You left me! All these like...
One thing I loved, recently was doing the song in the New York episode, which was really like we had already recorded the whole. Oh, he's on the phone.
We're at a panel, and the people just want to tell you how much they love you. Yeah, what are you wearing?
Voice of Jackson Public.
Are you writing the Venture Brothers? Yeah. For the kids? Yeah. They're right here? That was my impression of Mark Summers from that weird cookie show he hosted. It's right here, it's Ritz Crackers. It's right here. No, this isn't the goth panel. That was a bust, man. I gotta tell you about that later.
This is the actual Venture panel.
Yeah, Venture panel. James is here.
Hi, JP.
You can't on this speaker. Give it on. Put it on the right speaker.
We're gonna hang up on it. Jackson, you have anything to say? Any good words? He's writing. I'm right by.
It was Paul's idea. He's a good salt of the earth American. I'm right.
Yeah, call my mom next, James, please. Okay, yeah, just do that. You're where?
All right, next caller.
Atlanta? Why? You don't call enough. Let me get your father.
My question is for James.
Yeah.
Are you coming back to the Thrilling Adventure Hour anytime soon?
Yeah, well, that's a show that we do in LA. It's a live monthly show, and we've been it's like a parody of an old-time radio show. So we've been airing, putting them up as like a podcast. I'm in it pretty much every month, but the whole show is an hour long and it's different segments, so they only post like one brief segment, like every few weeks. So, I'm not in every piece, but I keep coming up. It's really great. There's a website called Thrilling Adventure Hour, I guess. Google it.
It's on iTunes as well.
It's on iTunes, called The Thrilling Adventure Hour, and it's like a parody of like 30s, 40s radio serials. And we do it live in LA, but and then we record it and put them up. It's really fun. Thank you. I'm glad you're aware
Come
of
up and
that.
get whatever piece of crap Ken hands you.
A little plug for The Thrilling Adventure Hour. Very nice. They've actually asked me to get Patrick Warburton to do a Thrilling Adventure Hour.
But that looks like a dean or an accidental dean.
Intentional.
Yeah, because you see accidental deans, right?
Yeah.
I've walked down the street and be like, guys dressed like Dean and does not know it.
Sweater vests are in stock.
There are no accidental deans at Dragon Con.
No,
That kid meant to put on
I
that.
think I saw one last
Dean
night, I'll be
vest.
honest. Go ahead.
All right. So I was wondering, what is the strangest thing you've ever been asked to sign?
Oh, I was at Comic Con in New York, and a young man had a prosthetic leg, and he removed it and asked me to sign it.
I signed that leg too.
He signed and then it was like this kind of like slick,
It's Hard to sign.
polymer, and it was hard to sign. I said, well, this is just going to wipe
Did you
off.
smell the interior?
You know, hearing that now,
Did you smell it?
no.
You did? You took like a huge whiff. It was so...
No, I didn't get any scent
That
off.
was my first thought. It's like, what does a prosthetic leg smell like? And
That's the difference between you and me.
it's the core difference.
And he said, no, he just gets people, and he was going to take a photo of it because it would eventually come off because the surface wouldn't keep like a Sharpie on it permanently. It was too slick. But that was the weirdest thing. I ever signed a guy's leg. He removed it, gave it to me. There's a picture of it on my own live journal of me signing it. What is the strangest thing you ever signed?
That leg. I signed
Yeah, that's it. That was a great moment.
Yeah, we signed the leg. It's pretty weird to think about it. Then we kind of handed it around to each other. Man's leg.
All right, my question is, as the world international sales are getting bigger and bigger, are you guys going to actually overdub the Venture Brothers in other languages?
Oh, it's being done. Yeah, the Venture Brothers airs in other countries, and somewhere there is, you know, a Swedish version of Venture Brothers that I haven't heard. I'm as curious as you are. I'm as curious as you are, and I'm twice as vain as you are, and I want to hear them screw up Dr. Girlfriend.
Briefly on YouTube, there was like a clip in Spanish, I think. That was like the official dub. Really? Yeah.
Oh.
That was like a couple of years ago.
Send me a link. You got my number. I gave it to you today. Send me a link.
Back in time.
Why don't you come up and get yourself anything that Ken hands you that is free? That was actually a good question. I am really kind of fascinated by that. What is it? Smell your finger kind of thing. And you know what it smells like? Fun. And shampoo. Go ahead.
Hey there, guys. Once again, thanks for being here, especially you, James. Glad you could make it.
All right, you can
Thanks for having your awesome Dragon Con. My question, one of my favorite episodes was when Dr. Venture was having Dean be trained by listening to progressive rock records.
Yes, that's great.
In your mind, what is Rusty's favorite progressive rock album, and maybe even Dean's as well?
And could you sing a song from it?
That's a question for you.
Are you looking at me, the person
That was when that was your,
tells you what
you
to
wrote
say?
that, didn't you?
No, Jackson wrote that, but that was a riff we did for a good 6 months of Doc getting Dean into music, and it was really truncated for that episode because that thing went on for hours. Surmise what he likes. Even Jackson and I have arguments about what he likes. I think Doc is a big secret Gong fan. He likes Gong.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the albums that were mentioned in that show.
Right?
I don't know a lot about that particular genre myself.
There was also a copyright-free fake version of King Crimson's Court of the Crimson King. But that's could be gleaned by watching it. Answer his question, which is, what do you think?
I don't know enough about the genre.
He's not Dr. Venture. That's a sad.
I'm not Dr. Venture.
He's an actor,
Not
not a writer.
Rock. King Crimson. Sure, there's your answer.
There it is. There's your answer. Everything prior to Red.
Yeah. Yeah, the later stuff. I knew a guy who toured with them. He played the stick.
Tap stick.
It's like some kind of weird guitar that's just
Tap stick.
just a stick. Yeah, it's just like the neck.
Yeah.
Tony Jabal played the stick.
Tony Jabal.
I thought I saw him here today. There was a bunch of new agey looking guys with a band with a sitar and a guy's wearing a kilt.
Yes, it's. I keep calling it felching, but apparently it's not called felching. And they get upset when you call it felching. So that guy has a rusty trombone on stage, and apparently they're felching.
Robert Fripp, Dr. Venture, basically just like middle-aged guitar guys with really good posture. Very serious, they don't move around a lot.
Like dodging. You can ask your next question. You know that I can't see people, and if I wear sunglasses, everybody's like, what a douche, he's wearing sunglasses.
When you do this, you can see a little better if you.
Yeah, exactly. I can salute you. Go ahead.
Looks like a late jam.
Okay, I have more of a theoretical question for me and my friends. In your professional opinion, who would win in a fight? Brock Sampson or Chuck Norris?
Or Chuck Norris?
You're gonna have to ask that.
Chuck Norris when? Like Walker, Texas
Say
Ranger?
Walker, Texas Ranger, Chuck.
Oh, come on. Brock would clean the floor. Not even competition. And Walker, Texas Ranger would thank him. Oh, you're Roger to be around me, sir. Thank you. I learned a little something about myself. I'm not infallible. Is there somebody Brock can't beat? I don't know, a dinosaur, I guess? like a pack-hunting velociraptor, 5 of them. The big one, he's looking at you.
Maybe if he fought the Chuck Norris GIF with the guns going off, the things exploding behind us.
Yes. You cannot beat a dinosaur. A dinosaur.
People beat the GIF.
A baby dino DNA. You cannot beat a dinosaur. Dinosaur. Baby dino DNA.
It's a really good impression of the narrator of the film within the film in Jurassic Park.
Dinosaur. It's a dinosaur. I wrote a weekend in that.
That's one of the great vocal choices ever. That just sounds like vintage Disney.
Beautiful. Those are the bullets from Roger Rabbit. Bullets in Roger Rabbit? Yeah, that was awesome. Great all vocal talents. Go ahead. Is that Dr. Girlfriend?
Yes.
Or do you guys just have the same taste in clothing?
Anyway,
She's actually here dressed as Jackie O and is really upset. I'm Jacqueline Kennedy, goddammit! I never even saw the Venture Brothers.
Who's Jacqueline Onassis? Go ahead.
my question is for James Urbaniak. I wanted to know about the recording session for the assisted suicides episode, the one where you had to voice Rusty as the id, the ego, and the superego. Because in the DVD commentary, in their words, they said that they rode you like a stallion in the recording session. So I wanted to see how that experience was for you.
Almost completely metaphorically. Jackhammer got behind me and
More?
no, that was a hard day. That was a hard day. It was a very long day, and it was really like figuring out what the variations were of those voices, and not you so much I think did, but Jackson in particular had very specific ideas, although I'm sure you did, about like the qualities.
We also put
I think
cut,
a lot
bad
of,
cut. That's the other problem.
there's a lot of, yeah.
That we don't want to both come at you. So Jackson will be like, I'll yell. Then you yell. We have.
But also, like, I'm not really a fanboy, so at one point, I can remember the two of you explaining who Master Blaster was. Actually, like that whole,
We're trying to get you to do that. He is just but a child.
Yeah, exactly.
That weird stilted speak of.
And then we were like looking for a YouTube clip because I'm such a Philistine, I didn't know the reference.
Well, he was based on not the actual character of, but my recollection of these characters, like, the episode from Star Trek where you would have it is Dranya, Drake, it's that kid, the creepy Ron Howard's brother. And then it's also based on the guy that rode Master Blaster.
Yeah.
He is but a child.
Yeah.
So it was like a screaming thing, and James had no idea what we were talking about, and we're yelling at him in that voice.
So it's this totally removed thing where it's basically me doing Doc and Jackson's imitation of that character. So we couldn't find any clips of them on
James'
YouTube.
imitation of our recollection of a character that doesn't really sound like that. It was so removed. And that's why at the end I was like, I kind of like it. It's kind of wacky. It was so new.
Yeah, there you go. It was it was a hard session. I had to take some Ricolas after that.
Did you really? Did you have to take anything else, like a Benadryl so you could sleep it off or something?
So you have to forget the memory.
Forget that it ever happened. It was fun. That was actually a fun session.
That was.
Anytime James is physically in the studio, it's fun because the phone doing those phone things.
It's much more fun to be there with you. Yeah, I moved to LA 4 years ago. It's not as
fun. It gets depressing in that booth.
Exciting.
Just me and
When you
Jackson
guys
in there.
are
That's
voices,
depressing. Oh. No, great to see you. Good choice. Delicious.
Oh
The next question.
I'd like to start by giving props to the people who made Helper. Can you see that?
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
The guy from Sphinx stands up. How apropos.
Wonderful. And I want to ask a question that's been asked before, but should be asked again.
If it's good, I'll answer it again.
All right.
If it's bad, I'll chastise
Venture
it.
Brothers stuff we can get. We want to get more fan stuff, more.
These really are very
more
good
T-shirts,
questions.
more.
And like at Comic-Con, it's always, what's going to happen with this character?
So these are.
And there's this ritual, people ask what's going to
If
happen.
there is a debate by
You say, I can't
who's a
tell you.
smarter, better prepared crowd, it's Dragon Con. I hate to say it.
Keep it right under your hat. You all know this is going to be posted anywhere.
Whatever. I think all the smart people or Comic-Con don't want to stand up and ask a question. It's embarrassing. We're not really in control of that kind of thing. The problem with making the Venture Brothers is that we make the Venture Brothers. So there's no time to even think about any other things about, oh, we should make this and make that. And Jackson and I are control freaks, and it's best to just take it away from our hands, or we'll mollycoddle it and change every little thing. And then when you take it away from our hands, it isn't as good as you would want it to be. So it's a bit, you know? So you're basically stuck in a Brock doll that looks awesome but costs too much. So then I'm hoping I get to keep this one.
Yeah. We always get.
Sending them back? All right, I make enough money. I'll buy Brock. What am I saying? Order Brock. Yeah, we'd like to make more things. I have dreams of making the best Venture Brothers watch. I like geek stuff. But, you know, who has to? It's tough. We're making a TV show. I say as I just slump into this kind of maudlin end. We make a TV show. What do you want, a TV show or a placemat with a picture of Brock on it? You gotta make a choice. And by the way, isn't that the best product ever? A placemat with Brock on it. How are placemats selling?
Will keeping the statue make you feel better?
It'll make me feel loved, Ken. It's either that or like a 15-minute hug.
Doug, this question is for you.
Yes.
You featured work by Bo Whistler and Rembrandt in the episodes Orb and Victor Ecto November. And I was wondering if you had drawn the animation for those as well.
You know what I did? It was kind of pain in the neck. For the episode that had Phantom Limb, who was selling stolen art and telling people not to buy they don't want the Mona Lisa because it's small. Remember that one? Yes. Okay. He was Phantom Limb in that episode. I was Dr. Girlfriend. I can't even see you. He was wringing his hands menacingly. Funny joke. Those on the wall were really stolen artworks. They were most of them were taken from a museum in Boston called the Gardner Museum. Correct. And there were some Vermeers, I think, and maybe Velasquez and a Rembrandt seascape kind of thing. What I had to do was find copyright-free versions of that and then kind of change its color and make it look like it's appropriate for the cartoon. So I didn't bother drawing it because you can find copyright-free versions of classical paintings. But I love that kind of insider-dom that Phantom Limb stole from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum.
We can take one more question.
Oh, two, Ken.
I told you fun.
Don't
You take whatever you want, Doc. Like you always do.
You take it. That's my Dexter impression. Take it. Doesn't matter. I don't know if anybody watches Dexter. That was it. Does anybody watch Venture Brothers? Suck it, Dexter. Go ahead.
First, not just to thank you for the entire show, but I have a friend who would kill me if I didn't get the opportunity to thank you.
I'm not going to give you a picture of him telling us to screw ourselves because we spoiled the ending. Because we have a lot of those at the Astro Base. I don't need any more.
No. But the episode Everybody Comes to Hanks was just phenomenal.
I don't know if I ever said this in commentary. That was written in 2 days. It usually takes me about a month to write a script. I wrote that in 2 days. And The reason for that was I was angry. And I'm such a horrible human being that somebody was mad at me for being slow. They said, slow! And so I cranked that out as an act of arrogance. That how dare somebody doubt my ability to be fast. And also, I love that genre so much. I was just, stroking it off as I was so happy to speak in fake private dick talk that, oops. Private dick.
Anywho.
You're welcome to the episode.
Yeah. No, I wanted to ask after the fate of two particular villains. One, is Molotov dead? And second, are we ever going to get Dr. Killinger?
Are we ever going to get
Dr. Killinger.
Back in the show?
Yeah.
That's a weird thing between Jackson and I. Like, when we did the first one, I'm like, that's it. I don't want to see this guy ever again. He's done his thing. Jackson's like, oh, I can bring him back. And he did. I'm like, kudos. But I never want to see him again. But it's kind of ball in my court, so I might have to write for Killinger again. Because let's see how many times we can get Killinger to seem vital. And the, what was your other question?
Yeah, well, is Molotov dead? Look, she goes over a cliff. We don't see the moment of impact. Draw your own conclusion.
Yes. Right? You've seen enough movies that
I know nothing. I'm just drawing my own.
Does that count? I don't know. She fell off a cliff and nobody saw it happen, so that's gonna have bearing on the season to follow. It was.
That went by fast.
It's the end of the panel.
It's the end of the panel already.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming down here. I hope you stick around with Adventure Brothers for the year it takes us to make season 5, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. Jackson and I are so excited about doing more. We're not phoning it in. We love this show probably way more than you do.